Hello and welcome to this full tutorial on Backup Buddy. So I'm just going to get right into it. So first and foremost, what you're going to want to do before you do anything is to create a database. And you're using the old version of GoDaddy's control panel. They've since graduated the control panels up to cPanel, so this is going to work a little differently. I'm going to anticipate this might deprecate sometime in the future, but if you do get the new control panel, cPanel, it's a pretty ubiquitous form of managing database, of just managing websites. You could just Google cPanel SQL creation, and it'll go, give you the step-by-step. What I'm showing you here will pretty much be the same deal anyways, so I am just going to go right into it. So the first thing you're going to want to do is create a new database, as mentioned. So just hit Add, and you can leave it on 5.5, that's fine. You can name it whatever you want to kind of ID it, so I'm going to call it Green Apple WordPress Site. And then I'm going to give it a username and password, so just for demo purposes, I'm just going to do something really quick here. Catalyst Design is the username, and this is the password I chose. And there you go. And I'm going to hit OK. And the unfortunate thing about the old control panel is it takes a little while to set up. Now it says may take up to 2 hours, but in most cases it's between 5 minutes and like 15 or so. So we got to wait till that's been propagated, and so we'll just do something else while we wait. So I am on the WordPress side of things. I've installed Backup Buddy. Of course, to install, you just go to Plugins, Add New, upload the zip file, and then hit Activate Plugin, and this will just all show up here in the nav. The next step is just click on the landing page, and then click on this option here for Complete Backup. And it'll go through the motions of creating your zip file that will contain anything and everything that has to do with this WordPress site, including your media files, your page content, Genesis theme, settings, SEO, the whole 9 yards. So this will have everything having to do with the site as mentioned, and it'll allow you to, number one, download a backup copy to your hard drive, so that in case crazy things happen, there you go, right there. I would highly recommend you always do that. Just keep that zip file stored away. Maybe you want to permanently keep it, in case your client has messes up your site in one form or fashion, or it gets hacked or whatever. You'll have that. But yes, regardless, as a rule of thumb, I would always do that. Now, normally I would be showing you how to send to an offsite destination, which means I would FTP this backup file to the new server in order to install it and get the site restored. However, I've been having problems with this Hot Dog Marketing FTP on Backup Buddy for whatever reason, even though I'm able to connect just fine in Dreamweaver. So I'm just going to show you the beginning steps of this, and I'm sure you can, with a future site, it'll work just fine. But anyways, you'll just click this, and it's going to say, where are we sending this zip file to? We're going to hit Add New Destination, and we're going to go via the FTP route. I'm just going to show you, as mentioned, that it's not going to take my login for whatever reason. But if you're familiar with FTP setting up, you just do a server address, domain or IP address, username, password. You can name the destination name whatever you want. I'd kind of delete that area so it doesn't interfere, and you would test the settings. Now you'll notice when I hit test settings, it's going to say I failed, and that's about it. But let's say it succeeded. You would hit Add Destination, and then you would have an option to then send that backup file, a blue button that says go ahead and send it off to that destination. And that's about it. Now, I will say, when you're dealing with this, one thing I forgot to point out is this remote path option. Since you're putting on your Hot Dog Marketing website, you're going to create, obviously, a directory. When you come back here to Control Panel and create the host add-on domain, just like you have for Wilco Marketing or Fetch Tools, you're going to want to, of course, create a new folder. I would avoid using the same folder, Green Apple, because while you could theoretically just use this site and point the DNS to it, you would have to, of course, take out the prefix and replace it with a domain, which takes a little bit of SQL digging and tweaking. So we're going to avoid that, obviously. So just name it something else unique, Green Apple, Pediatric Dentistry, or whatever you want. But that would, of course, go in here, and then, presuming that you were able to set up the offsite destination successfully, it would land there. But since we don't have that luxury, it doesn't. So I've already downloaded this backup file to my hard drive, and I'm here with it, and I'm going to go ahead and just upload it to the new server. And again, this folder is called Catalyst Design. So it's hotdogmarketing.net/Catalyst Design. Just FYI. So yeah, you would download it, put it there. Just keep that zip file handy in case things go a little nutty, as I mentioned. Next step, go to Restore Migrate. And I accidentally clicked the remote destination. There we go. And you're going to want to download what's called the importbuddy.php file. And what is that? It's the install file. It's going to be the file that will allow you the ability to go through the step-by-step, pretty simplistic process of getting the WordPress site restored. So you can extract this zip file, restore the database, get all media files where they need to go, etc., etc. It just does all the work for you. So when I click download import buddy file, and again, since we don't have the luxury of an FTP destination, we can't use this option. But when I hit download, it's going to say what you have to. It's going to ask you for a password. You can make this password whatever you want, and I'll show you where you're going to enter that password on the other side. I'm just going to put a password of hot dog and hit OK. It's going to download the file. Now I'm not going to even try to fish that file out because I already have it here that I can upload. I'm going to just wait for this backup file, which is almost done. There it is on the server, and now we're going to upload this import buddy PHP install file, and that'll finish and be done. All right, and I think it might take a little bit longer. I don't know. I was having problems getting it to fully finish, so we'll just go ahead and go through the motion. Let's check on our database actually and see if that's finished. And let's take a look here. So there it is. It looks like it's all set up, so we're good to go there. So the next step is going to be going to hotdogmarketing.net/ remember I created that directory called Catalyst Design. Oops. And I'm going to get probably a forbidden or something. Okay. And then actually I'm going to add importbuddy.php. So it's hotdogmarketing.net, the name of my directory, and then / importbuddy.php. And it should take you to this page right here, which is going to ask for your import buddy password, which, as mentioned, is hotdog, as shown in that previous step that I'm going to just enter that password I inputted. Oh, let's see. I probably spelled it wrong. Hot D-O-G. Okay. Authenticate. Oh, man. Could have sworn that's what I did. Oh, you know what? I'm sorry. What I had done previously here, I had actually made the password DOG. So, my apologies. So I'm just going to hit DOG, and then it goes to the step. Okay. So, anyways, if this is the next step. So the next option would be go ahead and hit Restore Backup. So what that's going to do is unzip everything, extract all the contents out, and then populate it on the server. You can kind of see what's going on the server. If you hit refresh, create an import buddy folder, it'll start, as you notice, putting all the WP files on here and working its magic all the way through. This is the status bar. It'll go all the way to the flush to the very right of your browser window to notate that it's all done. It looks like it's done. And now comes the database part. So this is going to apply specifically to GoDaddy. And let me show you how that's going to work. Come back here to GoDaddy, to MySQL, and I'm going to go down here, and I'm going to go to Actions and Details. And you're going to need to copy this host name and come back to Import Buddy and populate it here. Then your database name, which, if you recall, I set it up to be Catalyst Design. And again, this is applicable to GoDaddy. And it's also going to be your username, Catalyst Design. And your password is the password I created for the database. And then finally, you have what's called a database prefix. I would highly recommend not using WP underscore because that's vulnerable to hacks. You can name it any arbitrary thing as long as it has an underscore at the end and no spaces and no caps and all that similar jargon you hear for when creating a password. So I'll just say WP Green or something. It just has to be anything but just plain old WP underscore. So I'm just going to say WP Green underscore. And click on next step. If you get to this part where it starts saying restoring database, that means your login credentials checked out, and now it's restoring the database. It's going to go through all the individual tables within Green Apple, and it's populating it through. Looks like the database restored successfully, and now it's going to say, okay, we're going to be putting the hotdogmarketing.net/greenapple site, we're going to be putting it on the /Catalyst Design site, right? Which is what you want. Now, if you had a domain, again, if you had the add-on domain populated here, in the add-on account, it wouldn't show this URL in this fashion. It would show the URL with just the domain name itself. So anyways, since it's a demo, that's the way it's going to work for now. I'm going to hit next step, and we're going to go through one last round of migration, and then it says it's successful. You have one last step, but before you go through that last step, just check to make sure your site works. I'm going to open a new tab. And here it loads, and it looks like it's all there. And you can see it resides in hotdogmarketing.net/Catalyst Design. You'll notice the URLs on the tabs automatically change to that new URL, so you don't have to fudge around with that stuff, which is pretty freaking awesome. Same thing for images. You notice the URLs for images, they change to whatever the URL is now. So you don't have to do a thing thereafter, which is why it's so awesome. You don't have to manually update anything. So yes, you're going to go through the last part, and let me show you what that's going to do. It's going to clean up this. It's going to remove all the installation files, including this import buddy one, and then the zip file, and then this import buddy PHP. That's what this is all saying here. Finish the cleanup. Bada bing, and it's probably going to be a long time to say, but oh, maybe not. Bada boom! There it is. It's all done, and that is how you do it. Now, again, this is unique to this situation as far as the control panel is concerned. In most other cases, you'll be using cPanel. It's a pretty similar kind of step-by-step process. You just have to, of course, do a little bit Google searching to find the exact steps on how to create database and that kind of thing. All right, so hope that all made sense. Thank you for joining me. If you have any questions, you know how to reach me.